Thanks for staying with us, everyone, on the program. I'm joined now by Right Honorable Eugene Odo, who is former Speaker of the Enugu State House of Assembly. Right Honorable, thank you for joining us on the program this morning. I was asking you earlier about how optimistic you are as regards all of the promises the Southeast Development Commission is bringing up, the issue of tackling systemic issues, driving regional inequality, such as infrastructure deficits, educational disparities, and economic marginalization. How optimistic are you that this commission is able to deliver on all these promises?
Good morning. I want to start by thanking Mr. President in the first instance for assenting to the bill and subsequently composing the chairman, MD, members, and the executive directors of the Southeast Development Commission. You could recall that the Southeast has been agitating for marginalization since after the war. And when the NDDC were established, Northeast Development Commission were established, we felt that we needed it most. And we thank God that Mr. President has actually hearkened to our requests. We equally thank members of the National Assembly, especially the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, who initiated and sponsored this bill. You could recall that the successive National Assemblies has so far attempted to do the same thing. And Ifan Yuba did same in the Senate, but he died during the first reading. We thank God this period that the Deputy Speaker, alongside with his other colleagues in the National Assembly, be able to see this bill through. This bill, as a matter of fact, having been accepted to, and the President in his own magnanimity was able to compose the chairman and members of the board. We are very, very optimistic that there's going to be a new turn in the Southeast.
All right.
Especially looking at the credibility of a chairman and members and executive directors of the commission.
Right, Honorable, we're going to talk about that list shortly, which has also become a channel of controversy in this regard. But we've heard people express optimism also that this commission will commence the complete reconstruction of the Southeast over 50 years after the Civil War. How do you envision the commission addressing what is considered deep-seated historical grievances and political tensions in that area?
Well, leadership is everything. We, the Southeast, are very comfortable with the chairman and members of the commission, alongside with the MD and executive directors. Not just that they were appointed, the appointment resonates with the people. The people of Southeast have very big confidence in these individuals. And a whole lot of things are yearning for infrastructural deficit in the Southeast. Take, for instance, the issue of erosion. If you go to Anambra State like Nanka, you see a lot of erosion menace. Before now, people were thinking that Southeast is not a food-producing basket of the nation. But I can assure you that by the time this commission opens up the hinterland, especially that resides around the bushes all over Southeast, once it's opened up, then our people are ready to farm. But insecurity has made the men of underworld to occupy our forests, thereby terrorizing farmers and then contributing to low productivity yield in agriculture. We are hopeful that by the grace of God, that this commission have a lot, and as a matter of fact, they have no reason to fail. By Section 6 of the Act, all states of the Federation, all states in the Southeast will be contributing 15% of the allocation to them. by Section 6B as well, 3% of any oil company or gas company in the Southeast, 3% of their budget goes to the Commission. Same with solid minerals, 3%, and also VAT. So we are hopeful that with the credible people there, at least I can vouch for the chairman of the commission. The chairman of the commission was a two-time minister. He was a two-time member of the Revenue Mobilization Commission, spanning through 10 years. And such a person cannot drag his image, to the mud.
All right.
And he has been proved and tested in what he has done. The executive, for instance, within the executive director's cadre, the executive director of finance is Mr. Stanley Ohajuruka. Mr. Stanley Ohajuruka was a two-time speaker of Abia State House of Assembly. He was equally a member of House of Assembly, a member of House of Reps, and one-time acting governor of Abia State. So these are men of no mean repute, and they value their integrity, I believe, far more than even the job.
Right, Honorable. I guess time will tell whether or not they have integrity. It's not the first time, it's not the first initiative aimed at resolving regional disparities. The Niger Delta Development Commission, for instance, has faced several criticisms in this regard. Some 4 years ago, you remember, we saw the MD fainting in what was a very controversial episode as regards how that commission has performed. So people are anticipating to see how this will be different. You can understand why many Nigerians aren't quite excited about another regional commission. But I've also heard critics argue that the commission is an attempt to pacify the region without necessarily addressing demands for self-determination. How do you respond to these concerns?
Yes, the issue of self-determination is a product of marginalization. All over the world, there is no place there appears to be injustice that there's peace. If you go to Sri Lanka, if you go to Southern Sudan, even in Ukraine, Gaza and Israel, wherever there is injustice, naturally, there is restiveness. The injustice in the Southeast, of course, is to the knowledge of everybody. And we believe that the establishment of this commission is a starting point to addressing the injustice being meted in the Southeast. If you recall, you see that our people are restive. They are not restive because they just want to be restive. They are not looking for Biafra because they are looking for additional state ordinarily. It is a product of people feeling that, look, other people are benefiting what I'm not benefiting while I'm part of it. And with this move of Mr. President, I can assure you that it is a step in the right direction to ameliorating the crisis and the perceived imbalance, especially on infrastructure and human empowerment method to the Southeast. So we hope that the government is in the right direction. As you see, no Southeasterner has criticized the establishment of this commission. What it simply means is that they are very happy with Mr. President, they are very happy with the National Assembly, they are happy that at least they are being treated like others.
Specifically, are you saying that this commission has the capacity of potentially ending agitation for secession in the Southeast region?
You see, the issue of secession is a gradual process. The commission, with the caliber of person who is the MD and especially the chairman and members alongside with the executive directors, once they execute their job accordingly, I can assure you is capable of reducing it a bit. And we are not just restricting ourselves to Southeast Development Commission. The average Igbo man does not need an advantage. He doesn't need a catchment. All he needs is equal opportunity. All he needs is equal education. What we are demanding is not much. What we are demanding is that if they are doing an appointment in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we have 6 geopolitical zones. we are expecting at least to get 1/6. If there are, erecting infrastructures in the various zones, we expect 1/6 of such infrastructures. Anything they are doing that is of government benefit, we are expecting to get our own fair share. We do not want to take another person's own. The Southeasterner can actually sort himself out. He doesn't need an advantage. All he needs is equal opportunity for everybody to thrive equally. And that resonates with our system of governance in the past. If you remember, the Southeasterners are Republican, founded on egalitarianism. They are not interested in anybody being they are not interested in being spoon-fed. All they're interested is treat them as we treat others. And I can assure you, you see them excel. I want to tell you that the Southeast Development Commission will be a difference. Of course, they've established Northeast, their DDC is there. You're going to see a difference because even the chairman, members, executive directors, and MD, they are not they are not military men. They are being policed by our people, and our people are watching them to make sure that they do the correct thing. And these men have their integrity to rise above board because they are not going to be the first, but I can assure you they are going to make a mark.
So to that extent, indeed, I hear you clearly. The commission has hardly kick-started before having its first challenge that has to do with the nomination of its governing board. I'm sure you're following recent statements by the national vice chairman of the APC Southeast, who his comments on the SEDC has raised some concerns for obvious reasons. And the question some members of the APC are asking is, why jettison a list compiled by so-called stakeholders from the zone for a new one? Can you provide some insight into the selection process and perhaps address allegations of interference?
Well, as regards the list, you see, like I told you that this is an egalitarian society founded on Republican nature. Before now, most of the federal appointments are being coming to Southeast are being controlled by one man.
Who is this man?
What they call stakeholders meeting, the stakeholders, who are these stakeholders?
No, hold on. Who's this one man?
Was a
Right, Honorable.
Yeah?
Who's this one man?
I don't want to call anybody's name, but he knows himself. So, those who claim to be leaders of the Southeast do not need an emperor. We do not need a DPO or a headmaster. The Southeast thrives on consultation and dialogue. The stakeholders meeting list that was submitted, was Ken Namani there? Was the Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps there? All our leaders were there. If you watch out the recent constituted Imo River Basin Commission, it's constituted by one man. So the difference in Southeast Development Commission is that the same man contributed, but others equally contributed.
Just for some clarity, Right Honorable, so that we can fact check what you are saying. I don't think the Deputy Speaker was there, but you kept saying one man. The other side has made a list of those who were at that meeting and who were considered stakeholders. They mentioned the national, just a minute, Right Honorable, they mentioned the national deputy chairman of the party, governors of Imo and Ebonyi, including all the ministers from the zone. You don't think these individuals' recommendations should also carry some weight in the commission's decision-making?
Yes, they are our leaders, and we recognize them very well. But one would have expected that the former Senate President, Ken Namani, would have been there. One would have expected that the current Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps would have been there. One would have expected that former Guba candidates of the party, like Andy Uba, Ikeche Menike, and a lot of our leaders would have been there. So you do not just circle people and make nominations. See, that is why I told you that the Southeast is egalitarian in nature. They are Republicans. They don't need advantage. All they need is to consult them. So what happened in the list is that the previous list was was, as a matter of fact, composed by very few individuals, if not even one. But this one is more broad. So the agitation now in this present list is, why do other stakeholders contribute at all? That they would have left it the way it has been done. And that is why people say that Southeast have problems with APC. The Southeast love APC as a party. The Southeast are ready to work with APC. But it has to be done in recognition of their effort. It has to be done with consultation. Nobody takes instruction from the Southeast, from anybody. We don't take instruction. You convince us of what we do, and then we follow you. Nobody's a headmaster or a DPO that will issue instruction that will be followed by anybody. So the core position, as a matter of fact, is about a deviance a little bit from what has been happening. Just because some other stakeholders were able to contribute, it now seems as if it has become an anomaly. It is not. The list that is presently constituted at least shows that other leaders of the Southeast can make inputs other than domiciling it within a small set.
Let us take a deeper look, if we can, into the submission of the national vice chairman of the APC. Just confirm for me, if you can, are you a member of the APC as well?
Yes, I'm a member of APC, of course.
Awesome, because there seems to be an apparent division within the party, seeing many of the stories we've heard. The initial list, according to the national vice chairman, had Abia people producing the chairman, Anambra producing the MD, and the other 3 states producing the directors according to what they call the provision of the Act and in consultation with stakeholders. So the allegations we're hearing about now have to do with the fact that Imo and Ebonyi states were excluded from the Commission's governing board, despite what they call their significant contributions to the APC in the last election. How do you respond to these claims? Because I've had a couple of interviews on this myself, and there seem to be just too many divergent views on what's actually going on.
Yeah, you see, we have to be very truthful to ourselves. The Act establishing the Commission made it mandatory that all the states must be represented. Currently, Abia State holds the chairman of the Commission. Anambra State
we're having problems keeping the integrity of that connection. But I'm hearing that the Right Honorable is back. Right Honorable, we lost it for a minute. Can you just backtrack?
To let you know that the Act establishing the Commission made it mandatory that all the states must be represented. For instance, Chief Emeka Omo is from Abia State. He is the chairman. Mark Okoye is from Anambra State. He is the MD. Imo is represented as the executive director. Enugu is represented as a member in the person of Gochukwu Abana. Ebonyi is represented by Anthony Abo in the person, a former senator. Abia is represented in the executive director by Stanley Hajiroka, former member of House of an active governor of Abia State. So, the entire directors were represented in all the states were represented in the directorship cadre. The chairman is from Abia. So, I think people are not very kind with history because we don't change the narrative. More so, these people are going for screening. And I can assure you that every state is properly represented. So anybody that tells you that Abia is not there, where is Anthony Abo from? Anthony Abo is from Ebonyi. There was one Obede also who is from Imo. All the states are represented. So if people are making, the truth is what I've told you. We are not conventional politicians or politicians who eat through, through gossips. The truth is that there is a deviation from the norm. And what has been the norm? The norm is that all the federal appointments coming to Southeast are controlled and sponsored and nominated by very few individuals. Very few, infinitesimal individuals, as a matter of fact. Now, the composition of SDC has become a bit broad. Other people have made contribution, and it will now seem as if it's something that
I think your point is well noted, Right Honorable. Just hold on for a minute. Let's open the phone line so we can get contribution from our viewers as well. Mr. George has called in from Ikeja. Good morning.
Good morning, Ifemi, and good morning to the speaker. Can you hear me?
Clearly, please go ahead.
Ifemi, please permit me to disagree with this concept of proliferation of regional development commissions. We had the Northeast Development Commission, which was justified by the Boko Haram war. The region became devastated infrastructure-wise, and there was need to help those states within the region to rebuild the place. The NDDC, for example, came about because of oil exploration deficiencies in the land. The oil exploration activities of oil companies made it almost impossible for them to grow foods to eat and others, and the environmental degradation. So that won't justify the NDDC. I want a good reason for establishing a Northwest Development Commission, a Southwest Development Commission, and the current one in place, Southeast Development Commission or North Central Development Commission. It doesn't make sense to me. If it is because a development commission has been established for one region, so it must be established for another region, even when there's no justification for it, I don't agree with that. It looks like a device for sharing money. You can see the intrigue going on even before the court could be constituted. The same argument is what some people brought about states creation. Every region will have to have 6 states. Some have 7 states, some have 6 states, some have 5 states. What are the determinants for establishing states or regions? It's not the number of states in that region. It's about population and land size.
I hear you, Mr. George. You don't agree with the incomplete reconstruction after the Civil War, which has championed this cause?
Necessary, Nifemi. The Civil War ended in 1970. Why wasn't there agitation for it at that time? Why the NDDC was being created? Why didn't they come up at that time to say we also need it? When the Northeast Development Commission was being established because of the war, why didn't they look? I know. Let's be serious in this country if we truly want development. There has to be a reason for doing something. People just want to gather to share money for nothing. How do we get rich? How do we attain development like that?
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Right Honorable, he calls it the proliferation of regional commissions. I guess you disagree with him, especially with the Southeast one. Right Honorable, are you there?
Honestly, I couldn't get him. Yes, I'm here. I couldn't get him where the network is wobbling a bit. If you could paraphrase what he said, let me see how I respond.
He considers it unserious on the part of Nigeria that we now have what he calls a proliferation of regional commissions. Almost every region now has its own. He understands what happened in the Northeast and I guess one other region that in the South, for instance, with the oil exploration and its attendant environmental challenges, the Boko Haram issue in the Northeast. But then he's wondering what's happening in the other regions that warranties or that requires a commission for every other places.
Well, I think everybody's entitled to his opinion. If you watch the mood of the country appears to be tilting more towards fiscal federalism, restructuring, even though people have a lot of understanding about what they mean by restructuring. But if honestly every geopolitical zone could be left to develop at their own zone, that would have been the best thing that would happen to this country. And I see this, according to the proliferation of development commissions, as a step in the right direction. Because all this while, people will be blaming the federal government. My people did not get this, my people did not get this. Now, what the federal government has said, go and develop yourself. Go and use your people and develop yourself. I think it's a step in the right direction. That actually does not solve the problem of restructuring, but at least we can know who to hold on to, especially as regards these commissions and the monies appropriated to it. So, while I concede to his opinion, he has his entitled to his opinion, but we are of the view that instead of domiciling commission in one zone, I think every zone should have theirs so that they can develop at their own pace.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, we'll continue to explore the Southeast Development Commission and all the matters arising. Stay with us, everyone.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency.
Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. Right Honorable Eugene Odo is former Speaker of the Enugu State House of Assembly. Thank you so much for staying the course on the program this morning. Let's quickly take Reverend Dominic's call, and then we'll get back to this conversation. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Femi.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guest. I guess he can hear me. Can he hear me? Honorable Odo. Can I go on?
Right Honorable, can you hear the caller?
If you can hear me, let me say this. I'm from Imo State, Femi. To be frank, I agree totally 100% with George. Femi, what we ask ourselves in this nation, do we need bureaucracy or do we need development? Let's take example of NDDC, you cite example. Do you know that Imo, with my state, is in NDDC? Abia is in NDDC. Now, these two states now, are they in Southeast Development or NDDC? I don't know where they are now. These two states are in NDDC, Abia and Imo, and they have no development since 20 years now from NDDC in Abia and Imo. I'm yet to see the I'm from Imo. The honorable that is speaking here should speak for himself. Most of us from Southeast, and we who are genuine and not politicians, they not support this particular Southeast Development Commission, because it's going to be appointment for politicians. They are already fighting for it. The end we're going to see there is to appointment, bureaucracy, extra code, and more cars and more security, and not development. Sir, Femi, how did the Lagos develop? Is it by Southwest Commission or by astute leadership from Asuaju to the last government today in Lagos State, who decided to develop Lagos State by the fund from Lagos State or the commission. So commission is a political, gimmicks. Like George says, if we want to be serious in Nigeria, we don't need commissions. We need development. This is 50 years, Femi. The war ended in Southeast. The war, there was discussion in Southeast. There was what they call reconciliation and reconstruction. There was no single bomb in Lagos State. But since the end of Civil War, there's Third Mainland Bridge, there's Semes Bridge, there's many bridges in Lagos, but there was no one bridge in the Southeast. Is there a commission that brought bridge in Lagos, but will to develop Lagos? So what we need in the Southeast is something bureaucracy they're fighting for politicians. What we need is development. Just the commissions is for the boys. I'm more APC, more than the man who's speaking there. We brought APC in Imo State. He's not APC, they just joined there. If we're talking from APC, it's not just a culture, and myself and most of us. What I'm trying to say here, what we need in Southeast is development consciousness, not bureaucracy, like they have created now, and start fighting for it. That is for politicians. If the Southeast of Nigeria must develop, we don't need Northeast, we don't need Northwest, we don't, NDDC have failed.
All right.
Negative that ministry has also failed.
Reverend Dominic, I think you made your point. Thank you so much for talking to us. Right on there, did you hear the call at all?
No, nothing anyway.
Oh my, where do I start from? His name is Reverend Dominic. He says he's an APC member. He doesn't believe in the concept of commission. As a matter of fact, he says he's from Imo, and that your earlier submission that everyone is right behind the commission is false. According to him, there is need to develop at each other's pace, but not necessarily coming up with different forms of commission. He also asked a very interesting question as regards Abia and Imo, which, according to him, were members of the NDDC. What happens now with the Southeast Development Commission? How do they fit in?
Well, I think NDDC is not structured according to regional basis. NDDC is structured according to oil producing states. Ondo State is part of oil producing states. Ondo is in the southwest. Most of the states in the south-south are members of oil producing states. So Imo and Abia are equally members. So NDDC is not structured on regional basis. That is the difference there. The Southeast Development Commission, like other commissions, are structured on regional basis. These are the difference. What is tying NDDC as state producing oil? But in this case, the federal government thought it wise, listening to the laws made by the National Assembly to say, look, these people that have been saying that they are marginalized, can we allow them establish a commission so that they can see how they can address their infrastructural deficit? That is the difference there. There are two different things.
The allegation coming from, what's his name now, Dr. Arodiogbu, who is the APC Vice Chairman, Southeast Zone. It's alleged that this list included the Chief of Staff of the Deputy Speaker and that of the Senate President. An interference he called a big slap on the zone the last time he came on one of our programs on TVC. In fact, it was alleged that 5 of Benjamin Kalu's personal staff were nominated on the board. He's accused the Deputy Speaker of attempting to hijack the commission. I mean, this is out there, so I'm not making it up. What's your take on these allegations, and how do you think the commission can ensure transparency and accountability?
Well, we may not need to be repeating ourselves. I do not remember of 5 people coming from the office of Deputy Speaker. Stanley Hajuruka is not working with the Deputy Speaker. Emeka Omobu is not working with the Deputy Speaker. If there is a staff of Deputy Speaker who is qualified to render services in the Southeast, can the person be debarred or disenfranchised by the mere fact that is associated with the Deputy Speaker? There's a member of that commission who is a PA to a minister representing him. What has been talked about that person? For us in the Southeast, we are interested in qualified people. For us in the Southeast, we are interested in those who are competent to do the job. Working with a minister or working with a deputy speaker does not disenfranchise anybody. A party chairman was elected was nominated in Enugu. He said that he will not go because he's a party chairman. So these are infantile reasons that goes to nowhere. If actually they are looking for the credible, I want to read stories like that any of these members has been convicted or has been embezzled some money or has failed to discharge in previous assignment given to him. These are germane issues that Nigerians and Southeast will want to listen to. Somebody must be working from somewhere. Even if I'm not the one, I tell you that this guy was Speaker of House Assembly and he was a member of governing council in Ife. What does that show God to? These are not people that their identity is being sought. These are not people that we are questioning their identity. If you want to question it, we can pick it one by one. A PA, current minister, is a member, and those who are alleging it nominated him.
I hear you, Right Honorable, but there are also concerns around party affiliation. You heard the last caller saying that he probably joined the APC before you. They have raised concerns about the appointment of the MD, who allegedly belongs to the All Progressives Grand Alliance. About two others, the party also alleged were from the opposition party, when there are numerous qualified technocrats from within the ruling party. The party talked about that, did say that this action may lead to a cast of doubts on the supporters of the APC in the Southeast. So they're probably saying there are some APC members before some of you joined who have been completely neglected. But while we're saying that, let me just mention that in a few minutes, we're going to be joining live in Katsina State. I think it has to do with the distribution of agricultural implement by the state governor, Governor Diko Umaru, rather, to farmers. And it's happening at the People's Square Government House in Katsina. This conversation continues online. If you go on YouTube, there are two streaming platforms. You just need to find which one has this interview ongoing. We're also going to repeat the conversation later on, I think around 4 a.m. tomorrow. Right, Honorable, you want to quickly respond to that?
Yes. I think we should be able to make a distinction between politics and governance. President Tinubu has won an election. He is now the president of Africa, is now the president of APC, is now the president of PDP and all political parties. Wherever he finds suitable person in his own opinion that can decide anything, that is what the function of a president is. The Minister for State for Foreign Affairs, Bianco, no, is a member of Africa, is the minister in government. I do not see any reason if president sees somebody, even if somebody who is not even a member of any political party, and finds him worthy to discharge a function, there's nothing there. I'm a member of APC, but APC alone cannot run the government of Nigeria. There must be coalition of intelligentsias, businessmen, and people who have something to put on the table. That argument goes to no issue. You cannot leave the governance of Nigeria for only APC members because they won election. You cannot get the best out of this country. We have a lot of talents who are not even members of political parties. Wherever the president, in his own opinion, sees anybody that can discharge a duty, I think he has the powers to so appoint, and powers as well to hire the person, to fire the person when the services are no longer needed.
I agree your concept as it relates to politicking and governance. But on the other side, some would say one came before the other. So there are those who worked politically to be able to give the president a chance to do governance. And if you don't pay attention to them now, they would matter again in another election cycle. And you are a politician, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But there are members of the party.
Yes, I understand you perfectly.
Yes.
I understand you perfectly. But if you're looking for a job that is meant for a professor, a PhD holder, and you are a mere graduate, and I do not think that being a member of a political party will make that being waived for you. I'm not, of course, I don't have appointment personally, and I don't have any problem with that. Whenever the president finds it worthy to appoint me, fine. But I cannot begrudge anybody that was given appointments and that is not a member of APC. It doesn't work that way. There must be a distinction between politicking and governance. Governance is for all. Politicking is for political parties. The more we understand this disparity, the better for us.
All right. But let's talk about politicking for a bit now, because there are members of your party who are now appealing to Mr. President to review the nominations and address these concerns. There are already trust issues, disgruntled stakeholders. How do you think these concerns can be addressed? Because you also need a united family to be able to make progress. Or are you saying, just a minute, sir, or are you saying that these disgruntled members are not really relevant moving on with the operations of the commission?
The box stops at the table of Mr. President. Don't forget that this Southeast Development Commission is not the first appointment that has come to Southeast. We have ministers in the states. These ministers were literally controlled by one man, nominated all the ministers, and he came to stand. Just about 3 days ago, Imo River Basin was constituted, chairman and members. These things were done by one man, and it was normal. Most of the appointments that have so far come in the entire Southeast were done by one man. No consultation with people of that state. Only this Southeast Development Commission that other stakeholders have called to contribute very minimally. That is why the hell is about being lost. I want to repeat that the Southeast cannot entertain an emperor. That is why, if you watch out in the politics of the Southeast, nobody can load it on them. You can load it on them within the period of the office. Once you get out of the office, you become irrelevant. We do not want a headmaster, a DPO as our leader. We want people who will consult us on what they are doing. So what made the Southeast Development Commission, why people are agitating, is because it fell short of the norm. And what was the norm? The norm was that one person would be nominating all the positions that came to Southeast.
All right.
You know, disregarding all those stakeholders. I'm happy that you said that the present Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, we are not in the stakeholders meeting. Is this supposed to be the true picture?
I hear you right, Honorable.
The highest.
Let's take
the highest Igbo person in government for now.
Okay.
Then they are calling meeting his name and he was not there. A former Senate president, they were calling meeting about his own. He wasn't there, and that appears to be normal.
Right, Honorable. Let's take one last call if we can. Mazi Okorafor has called in from Arochukwu in Abia State. Go ahead, Mazi.
Good morning, my brother. Compliments of the Christmas. You see, there is need for the government, the civil administration, to try as much as possible. The chairman of that commission, at least either a man or woman with student integrity, that will carry everybody along. And I will advise the president that do the needful, that they should write it as ABCD, instead according to alphabetical order. So that after the tenure of social state, another person stays as a chairman. And look, my brothers and sisters, let this do very well. Aruchukwu coming to Umaya or going to Akwa Ibom, I bet you, since the end of Civil War, since 1970, the roads are still there. Thank God for Udom, when he came, the trial and this subject, we cannot breathe. That bridge, they have got taken many souls during rainy season. Honestly speaking, even the development aspect of the road that is so terrible that with the commission, it will now help and solve other problems. There are what you call the government they use in building roads. It's there in Aruchukwu, but it's not being started. Rather, it's illegal minor cases. By the time the commission will come, they will do the needful and make use of what is available in that Southeast Commission to do what? To do the needful. And nobody will talk about addition or their sideline or doing for this. Honestly speaking, we need that commission now or never. Let it be the Christmas gift or a New Year gift to the people from Southeastern Nigeria. Good morning, Mazu Okafor. Honestly, president, please pick people that are ready to do the job. Some people that will come and reach their pocket will go and look for their concubine and friends to fill in all those places without being needful. Good morning, Mazo Craft for Promotion. Happy Christmas to all the TVC.
Thank you, Mazi. We wish you Merry Christmas as well. Right, Honorable, we're rounding off now. I want us to speak to real development in the Southeast because that's all that matters, irrespective of who makes the nomination, irrespective of the infighting within the party as regards the list. As former Speaker, for instance, what advice would you give to this commission to ensure that its efforts really translate into regional development and improved livelihoods for the people of the region?
Well, I think everything happens for good. With the turmoil associated with the appointment of members of the commission, I think they will be heavily challenged to go straight to their job. We have a lot of infrastructure deficit in the Southeast. Like, I listened to the last caller. That road he was saying is very germane to the people of the Southeast. The road has been left unattended. I expect that members of the commission will collaborate with our governors so that they don't work at cross purposes. In that way, they should be able to identify what each state can do, each state government can do, and what they cannot do. Those things they cannot do is where they should lay emphasis and their priority on. I'm very hopeful that with the caliber of people, that they should be able to address at least our infrastructure challenges, the barest minimum. And don't forget that they are not traditional rulers. They have tenures. So by the time their tenures expire, we should really look for people who are better than them to steer their fates. I wish them good luck. And
I like the hope part. It's an era of renewed hope, and Nigerians are really counting on it. We have to go now, but in conclusion, what message would you like to convey to the people of the Southeast regarding the Southeast Development Commission's potential to drive regional development and their expectation as regards addressing their concerns?
Yes, I expect the people of Southeast to channel some of these infrastructure decays by way of memo to the Commission.
All right.
I want to expect members of the Commission to analyze this memo and make consultations. It's not about locating projects. You must consult people to know what they want and know what you're locating. It is not enough to go and erect borehole where there is another borehole. That is not development. They need to consult our people, know their problem exactly, and then attend to it. And I urge the people of the Southeast to give cooperation to these people, pay courtesy call to them, write memos to them, extract their problems, and see the extent to which they can attend to it, considering the paucity of funds, and where funds are available, they should be able to address the need.
All right.
Square up. Thank you very much.
Right, Honorable Eugene Odo, former Speaker at Enugu State House of Assembly. Thank you so much for talking to us on the program this morning.
Thank you, sir.
That's our show today, everyone. Thanks for being a part of it. Merry Christmas. I am Nifemi Ogutoye. See you again tomorrow.